12.1 is here, so I wanted to run through some must-have add-ons to help you with your various day-to-day gameplay. I'm Silo with Zygor, and if you were looking for some new add-ons for your UI, then I think we'll have some that will be of interest to you. The first one I want to talk about is Ellesmere Standalone bags. I started actually using this myself on the PTR because the base Blizzard bags, literally the ones Blizzard made, consistently kept breaking during the PTR cycle in terms of like literally entire bags became unusable. And since I got the Ellesmere Standalone bags, I had no issues at all and actually enjoyed using the add-on quite a lot. When you first install the add-on, it'll basically be set up for what most of you are going to use it for. But if you want to move it around a little bit, just hold shift and then you can drag it. And you're going to see 3 different bag types. You're going to have all bags, which is going to use your various different filters as well. And it's going to categorize your items in terms of gear or weapons/trinkets or consumables or trade goods. And you can also create custom categories that you can kind of whitelist items into as well, if you want to sort your bag that way. There'll also be a recent items section where anything you've recently looted will be right at the top, which is nice, especially for kind of like outdoor gameplay where you're looting chests and stuff and you want to see what you just got. And you can pin items to the top as well, so like the hearthstone or certain consumables you're going to use fairly often, they can be at the top of your bag. Then there will be 2 other bag types you can switch between as well. There'll be the one bag, which will literally just be every single item combined into one giant bag, or multi-bag, which will be all the individual bags separated that way if you prefer. And in the settings, you are able to switch to which one you want to be the default. So if you prefer the one bag over the all items or multi-bag, then whenever you open your bags, even after a reload, one bag would always be the default. And there's going to be some various settings you can do for it as well. For example, change the size or the way it kind of scales itself, which categories are shown, or if you want the button to add a new category shown at all. But overall, I found it to just be quite a nice bag add-on. Recently, I've been kind of jumping between bag add-ons to find one that I quite like, and I think this might be my new default moving forward. Also keep in mind as well, Ellesmere has a full UI pack, but if you're not looking to get an entire UI pack like myself, then what you can do is you can look at all the individual parts that they've uploaded to get these specific parts of the UI that you want to take out, because they have most things uploaded like the damage meters, the bags, the unit frames, so you can take the parts that you like the most. The next add-on I wanted to touch on was Peaver's performance, and this is going to be useful for a lot of players, I think, because the new zone has a lot of mobs, especially in the under section, a lot of these poison areas, a lot of density. So I could see people's FPS being impacted. And what Peaver's performance is going to allow you to do is have these preset graphic settings that you can swap between depending on the content you're doing. So you can go from high performance all the way down to like the bare minimums, and the performance gains are quite noticeable. I generally get about 140 FPS, and if I use the high performance, my FPS drops by about 10. But if I use the next setting, I gain about 100 FPS. If I use the very bottom 2 settings, I gain about 200 FPS. The nice thing as well is you can go back to your original settings before you touched any of these profiles, and you can set it up so it'll automatically swap depending on the content you're doing. So if you want nice graphics while you're out in the world, just playing on your own, you can. But then when you go into raids, it'll drop it to a higher performance graphics setup so that you get more FPS so you can perform better. And additionally, this is someone else who has a big ecosystem of add-ons to take a look at. For example, they have one that's based around consumables, which one are going to be best for your class and spec, or they have one of recently played with, which will show you the people that you've kind of recently played with in raids or dungeons, so you can keep a log and go back and be like, wait, did I play with this person? Were they the ones that inted? And you can look at the kind of log of who you played with and be like, yes, that was that person. I'm gonna leave this group. Or even one called Need That, which could be seen as a bit more toxic, but when something drops that you need, it'll automatically whisper people saying, hey, you need that? So definitely take a look at the list of add-ons they have, because they have some quite interesting ones. If you're looking for the ultimate companion during your World of Warcraft journey, especially moving into 12.1, then Zygor is the add-on for you. It's been updated for 12.1 to cover the new campaigns, the side quest lines, the world quests, the new fishing rep faction, Season 2 praise, and more, and it will continuously get updated from week to week as well. And Zygor just helps remove the confusion of things because it'll be there as your little companion, guiding you step by step through your journey. But not only that, it has so many old guides for you to utilize as well. If you're returning to WoW in 12.1 and you want to level up a new character to be your main, then Zygor will assist you with that, helping you level all the way from level 1 to max in an efficient way, and ensuring you don't get confused on your leveling journey. Or if you want to unlock old content, collect old mounts, pets, hunters' pets, titles, achievements, it has so many different guides for various different aspects of the game. And it's simple to use too, you just search what it is you're looking for a guide for, and most of the things in there are covered, so if it is covered, you just select the guide that you want to load, and then start following the steps. And it's going to have a bunch of quality of life as well, for example, picking up and turning in quests automatically, showing you which item is going to be the biggest upgrade for you, recommending talent builds while leveling, picking up flight paths, repairing for you, and if you're using default Blizzard bags, it will highlight potential upgrade items for you as well. So if Zygor sounds useful to you, check it out in the link in the description below. The next add-on pairs quite well with Zygor as well, or can be used standalone, and that will be a newer add-on called Today in WoW. And what Today in WoW is going to do is be a bit of a goal tracker. So it's going to come default with a bunch of different kind of goals and things that you want to work towards built into it. For example, if you want to work towards gearing up for the new season, or you want to kill all the rares in the new zone, then there'll be various goals that are built into it that you can activate for your character. Once it's activated, you'll get a list of all the steps involved in that specific goal. For example, there's a week 1 gearing guide, and it's not going to go into great detail about how you do the things, just more do the thing. And that's why I said it pairs quite well with Zygor, because if one of the tasks is to knock out the new campaign and you're not really sure how to do that, or you're getting confused on various steps of the campaign, then with Zygor you could load up the campaign and work through it, and you've completed the step needed within the Today in WoW. It does come with a bunch of default goals in its library, but you can also import custom goals, so if anyone's made a custom goal for something in particular that you're interested in doing and working towards, then you can import their custom goal and work through it too. And especially with WoW nowadays, there's so much to do, so many new systems and things that are added to the game consistently. Add-ons like this just make things a little bit more approachable and easier to consume. This next add-on isn't too advanced, but it's kind of useful, especially if you're playing something that you're newer to playing, or you're just not very good at remembering the kind of busy work of your spec at times. Then this is going to be called SpellPilot. And what it's going to do is have a one button kind of window of somewhere that on your screen you can put at the top, but you can move it around, make it bigger, smaller. And it's going to remind you to do certain things. For example, if you're targeting a mob that can be interrupted and your interrupt is available, it'll now be like, hey, press interrupt. Or if you're playing a pet class and your pet is dead or needs summoning, it'll remind you to do that as well. Or if you have some kind of buff that needs to be applied to the mob like Hunter's Mark, it'll remind you to do that too. It'll also remind you to press defensives. If you're someone who's not very good at keeping track of your HP and you're dropping low, it'll say, hey, you've got a health pot available, use that. Or hey, use your big cooldown. Or hey, okay, you've used both of those things, now use your smaller cooldown or your personal heal. And obviously you should be using your cooldowns in a more min-maxed sense. But if you're just someone who's not very good at using them, then tools like this are good just to get you in the habit of pressing them. And then once you're in the habit of actually using them, then you can start to learn to actually press them more efficiently. So just a nice little add-on to have if you're someone who struggles with these kind of problems. The next add-on I'm very curious to try out in the next season, and this is called GearInsight. And what this is going to do is basically give you a list of gear and upgrades or stat weights that you should be working towards based on top end data. So you're going to be able to click that you're focusing on high end M+, and it'll pull up the stat weights that you should be pushing towards, or at least the stat weights of what the top players have compared to yours. And it'll say, oh, you're kind of low on mastery, you should aim to get more mastery. And you can also click on your trinkets and say, hey, what are the top trinkets I should be trying to get? It'll say, well, these are the trinkets that the top players are trying to get. Here's where you get them from. And you can do that for all the various aspects of your gear pieces too. Now, of course, there's sites that already do this for you, but this is a way of just having it built into the game and help you more quickly decide what piece of gear you should be going after, what your stat priority might be, what kind of consumables you should be using, a look at roughly what your rotation should be. It even gives you a kind of nice breakdown of M+ as well, saying what the more deadly spells are and what typically kills your class or spec. And you can tell the add-on is a work in progress. Currently, it doesn't look that great, and there is a lot of translation issues with the add-on too. But as a base add-on, just to kind of give you a good overview of what you should be doing in-game for your gear, etc., I think it's one worth checking out. This next add-on is a honorable mention or an unhonorable mention, I'm not too sure, but I really wanted it to work how it's stated to work, and I'm hoping it gets updated too. That's why I want to bring some attention to it. But it's called AmbientLFG, and the goal of it is it's meant to allow you to set up kind of filters of what you want a group to be for like M+ or raiding, and it'll just in the background be searching for groups like that and alert you when groups like that appear. And that sounds really good, because when you're trying to actively play M+, or you're looking for a raid group group, especially at not very good hours, you might end up missing one, or you've got to sit there, click and refresh over and over again. And the core idea of just being able to be like, hey, I want to kill this specific boss, or I want a fresh group, or I want a plus 12 XYZ dungeon. And you can just leave it searching, and whenever it finds a new group that's listed that needs a DPS, it'll go bing, new group, go sign up. That sounds really, really good, really, really useful. It means you can just focus on whatever other gameplay, or even not even gameplay. You can focus on something else and it'll just alert you and you can tab back in and sign up. And that'd be really nice. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. The automatic search feature seems to break quite often, and it just will stop kind of trying to search for a group. And I put in, for example, 15 and assumed that would mean any groups that are like a plus 15, it would automatically flag. But 99% of the time, it just didn't seem to understand that there was a group that was plus 15 key there. And if you try and look for a specific dungeon, that seemed even worse because it didn't seem to understand the dungeon names at all. It was only looking at the titles. So in theory, to me at least, it seems like a really, really useful add-on. In reality, it needs a few more updates, but hopefully the dev is active. They do have a few other add-ons as well. So hopefully they're going to put out a patch for this and fix it up and make it work properly for 12.1. Because if it is fixed, this is probably something I could see myself using. If you're an Altaholic, then Warband Nexus might be of interest to you. The idea behind the add-on is it allows you to set up and track all your various different characters with different things in mind as well. You can keep track of the gear that's currently on those characters. So if you pick up a piece of BOE gear, you can check through your characters and see who should use it. You can check the things that are in their bags, their currencies, their gold, their bank, their professions, statistics, what progress they've made towards weekly tasks like Vol or crest caps, and you can even set up to-do lists as well if you want a specific character to be working towards a reputation or a mount or an achievement. You can set up those too. And I think Midnight's been fairly good for gearing and catching up characters. So just having a big overview of being able to see all your characters need to do, have done, what they could do, what gear they need, etc. It's just a lifesaver instead of jumping between each character each time. So if it also sounds like it would be of use to you, then check out Warband Nexus. And that does bring us to the list of the add-ons, so hopefully you found some new add-ons you're interested in using in 12.1 and onwards. Outside of that, look out for more videos coming soon on Zygor's channel. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya!